Do you think it would be possible, the Volus asks, for us to do some of our own questioning as well?
Well, normally I would say yes. These children have, for the last couple of months, been through a lot of distress, both with losing family and with losing fellow students in recent disappearances. I would say you can join Aya, who has been recently trained to deal with handling fragile and tense situations and emotions with her questioning.
I would very much like to at least sit in and listen to the rest of the investigations, if possible.
That is fine, as long as you're escorted.
Of course, I understand. Uh, may I, if you don't mind me asking, approximately how many students or faculty would you say have been affected by the disappearances? And out of character, I will say, Lun, that over the past couple of weeks, you've probably had some, I would say almost, not quite, but almost a dozen combination of students and faculty. The most recent one, unfortunately, which is why you're in the position that you are now, was the headmaster of the school.
So he'll kind of go, well, with recent numbers, with the most recent tally, including our principal, Zakita herself, it comes to about a dozen.
And I'm assuming none of these students seem to show, or faculty seem to show any reason to leave, or you don't know of anything in common that they have shared.
He kind of thinks, I've been very cautious about letting people leave about having guardianship checked because we have obviously had a few students who have lost their guardianships. But there's been no distress bar the current theme of illnesses recently, but that could also be a stress factor.
While you're having this conversation, the lights in the room flicker slightly.
Oh, great. Not
And
again.
this is something that, Lun, I'm sure you've probably noticed, like lights flickering, and I think you may see it as some sort of a short that could be happening.
He kind of goes, I guess he'll go to his and God sakes, Chris, what are you doing now?
Like the second the lights flicker, you see Nathan just jump and like his biotics flare for a second, and then he calms. Like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, Vito has his, like, the second the lights flicker, Vito's eyes are on the pie jack and his Omni Whip out.
Oh, okay.
Put
pie
that
jack.
away, Tiger.
Weapons away, please.
Before we have to deal with more than just.
Hang on.
missing
We
students.
understand.
I'm not seeing the same shit again today.
Just 1 second, all right? Trust me.
Wait. Can I go to the bathroom? Giving shit.
Fucking camera.
Looking at the
Right. First of all, care to explain the reaction to power shortages?
You know the lightning rail, right? You guys heard about that, right?
I'm gonna say they don't. That's more of Citadel, local
damn it.
Citadel news. I'm gonna say they don't know anything about that.
Dia's going to say, well, while we've been on here, we've noticed when lights flash, animals tend to go murder crazy and try to kill you.
The only thing this little pasta's been doing lately is flush the toilet while I've been in the shower.
Trust me, Lucas has been at my side for a long time. He will not be attacking anyone today. Unless
Well,
they attack him
unfortunately, it might
first.
not be his choice. We don't know what is affecting animals. We had these animals, these entirely common, biotic biotically changed or altered however you want to call it by ESO. Animals go insane and attack a woman on the street in the market for no reason.
Specifically, they ripped out her throat.
Yeah, try to tear out her throat. we weren't there, she
Same
probably
thing
would be dead right now.
Same thing happened on the lightning rail train. Lights flashed, Varen attacked.
You said they were affected by Ezo after the
So-
flash?
No, before the flash, if animals in any way had any kind of biotic inclination, if they had, in a way.
That sounds more like people just not knowing how to train their animals properly. You mean like
You ever seen a space hamster try to rip in someone's throat before?
Varen are not exactly a common like they're not like a fluffy little dog. They're a big like carnivorous animal.
Oh yeah, but have you ever seen a space hamster turn from a little ball of fluff into a ripping out your throat kind of monster? Because that's what happened. You can look it up. It happened like 5 minutes ago on the market square when the
Well,
lights flickered.
as I said, do not worry. Lucas is far more intelligent than probably some of the people in this very room.
Vito's looking a little hurt.
Nathan doesn't care.
Anyway, one moment. You kind of like pull up his VI, call up the current head of keeping the things from working around the building. Go, do you mind not messing with the electronics, please?
Oh, sorry, Professor Rowlett. My apologies. I'm gonna say that Aya. I'm sorry, not Aya. That Astra will immediately recognize this person's voice as Chris.
Oh, okay.
As I don't mind you fiddling around, if you keep messing with our electricity, you have to pay the fine to the guild.
No, oh no. It took me a long time to grind to get all of that recent cash, and I was trying to save up from the legendary item. I'll make sure that everything's back the way it was.
He kind of leans on and just kidding.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, why don't I come over there and just make sure that everything is still in order.
Sure.
And he will hang up.
So Gimmick, because Gimmick was looking for a reason to go outside while they were talking. So because he'd asked if he could go to the bathroom and no one answered. At the first chance, Gimmick that there is would try to go outside the room. Like if no one is paying attention to Gimmick, he should try to leave.
Okay, well, go ahead and roll a stealth, and anyone
Okay.
who thinks they would be paying attention may roll a perception.
Well,
if
just a quick
anyone-
question. I presume the answer, I kind of already know the answer, but I'm presuming Lun can't read AI thoughts.
No.
So while he's talking,
No.
he's been tracking the thoughts of everyone in the room, so he doesn't know Astra's there. Well, Gimmick's there. Because
Oh.
Gimmick doesn't give out a thought.
Well, Gimmick is... I should specify. Gimmick currently is in an Asari robotic body.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that you're going to be having a lot of suspicions because there's this Asari in front of you, but you can't read its mind.
Yeah, at the moment he's not done official, like, okay, I'm counting that thought to that person, that thought to that person. He's gone, I'm reading this many thought patterns, I'm looking at the phone, and the same thought patterns are still in the room.
Is it possible to block that signal, like with biotics?
I don't know if you're aware of it, maybe, but I don't think anyone is necessarily aware that
would you
Lun can
think
do that.
that maybe Indy it's blocking the signal or something?
Well, no, what we just established is you don't have thoughts, like readable thoughts, because you're an AI.
You don't have readable thoughts. Yes.
He's too busy focused on something else to be specifically figuring out what thoughts belong to who.
Yeah. And also because when Gimmick asked if he could leave the room, no one said anything and just keep going and talking about something else.
Okay, so roll a stealth if you're trying to stealth. Are you trying to stealth, or are you just...
No, just going to get up and leave the room.
All right, well, if that case, you get up and leave, and anyone who wants to notice and stop Gimmick may. Otherwise, Asari is leaving the room.
I have a passive perception of a fuck ton. So.
All right, so...
Are you going to stop me?
This Asari said she needed to go to the bathroom. Nobody said no. She gets up and she leaves presumably to the bathroom. I don't know if Aya would stop her.
Down the hall to the left.
Okay.
Thank you. So when Gimme goes outside, he would like run a scan, and well, he would run two scans. I don't know if it's I just have to make one roll, but one it would look for that where was that signal coming from, like the one that the android, like the droid was the sound, the voice. And the other one is if there is anything odd, like it was the last time when all the animals started attacking.
So you're trying to scan for the android, you said? What
I'm
were you
trying to
saying?
scan to know where the voice came from, like
Where Chris came from.
Yeah.
Where Chris?
uh,
Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll in electronics.
Okay.
It'll take a little bit of time, but you'll know that whoever was on the other end was at the time in one of the study rooms, I will say, like maybe on a floor upstairs. And as for what was the second question?
If there was anything odd, like the thing that happened last time, like if there is any signal or anything that would mean like
You on both you haven't noticed a weird signal at all.
oh, okay. So yeah, give me we just go to the bathroom and come back.
Sure.
Walking and watching around.
Is anything happening back at the office while Indy is in the bathroom?
Dia's probably going to ask, do you have any security footage or anything? Maybe some of the kids went somewhere, maybe they got possessed like those animals or something, and they disappeared, walked off. Anything on your camera footage?
We would have been checking footage, Park. Out of character, just so like, would there have been anything like that?
Yes. So you actually set up some cameras last night, and I think out of the permission of some of the kids who said that they were feeling sick. So a few of the students you've been setting up cameras. I will say that last night didn't turn up with anything weird, but then again, nobody disappeared last night. So you'll continue monitoring again tonight if they notice anything.
Yeah. We have, with the permission of students, set up security footage in some dormitories. So if anything happens, we'll know. Other than that, there hasn't been anything measurable or noticeable.
It'll be at this point that there's a tap on the door, and you will see this character, if you can see him.
Oh, hello. How you doing, bro?
And this character, he is dressed in a janitor's uniform. And I'm going to say that
Has he put on
might have
a disguise?
Yeah, he'll probably have like a mustache or something. Maybe like a mustache and some really, really goofy rimmed glasses.
Like
Really
two questions. Would Vito recognize him? / would he recognize Vito, considering Vito kind of fell out the window?
Yeah, roll a perception, get an advantage.
An advantage because that costume is ridiculous? Or
Chris might have picked it out.
I love him.
Poor Chris. Poor Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Advantage.
Yeah, you will immediately recognize who he is.
Okay.
I don't know if Chris will necessarily recognize you because all Solarians might look alike to him. So, no offense.
Small amount of racism. Just a small amount.
He just doesn't notice. He just isn't attention to detail to Solarians. He just doesn't notice. Humans are way more. You gotta understand. Humans are the most diverse of all of the species. All other races tend to look very similar to each other. They're not as diverse. Okay. So, so Chris will say, Professor Rowlett,
Mm-hmm.
so this is a little awkward, but as I was passing by one of the dormitories, I saw something really strange. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I be talking about these kind of things while you have guests?
Yes.
Which dormitory? What kind of thing is it urgent?
I was passing by Demetria's dormitory, and she started talking about how really she was complaining about the noise. And so I asked, "What noise are you talking about?" And she said that somebody's singing really loudly in her ear. And I said, "Singing? I don't hear anyone singing." And then I looked around to see like where the singing could come from, and I turned around and she wasn't there. It's like she just disappeared.
Lun literally bolts over the desk and just dashes through the door towards that dorm room.
I would immediately like call up like hole footage.
Yeah.
They would have set up like all the
Yes.
common holes would have footage, so she would immediately pull up and like scroll back to like see. Okay, there's Chris, there's the person, and go. What happens?
Yeah. So two things are happening at once. So we'll start with Lun. So Lun bolts over to where the dormitory area was, and does anyone follow Lun? Because while Lun is leaving, it looks like Aya is also bringing up the cameras.
Yeah, it's going with the
You can
flow.
decide where you're going, if anyone's coming or staying.
Nathan's going with Lun, though he's probably having to hold himself back from running because he doesn't know where he's going, so he's having to take Lun's pace, basically.
Diaz with them.
Dia's gonna be with
Yeah.
Nathan with Lun. How about Vito? And
Vito's gonna play the cameras. So
Vieta's gonna stay with the cameras. Koalan's gonna stay with the cameras. And I'm going to say that Indy will come back just in time to overhear this conversation. So Indy can decide if she wants to follow Lun or if she wants to stay with Aya.
Where is Charlie Rana going?
Who?
Charlie.
Oh, yeah, Charlie. Chris, because Chris when said that his name was Charlie Rana.
Right, he did. So Charlie's gonna go with Lun because he has to show Lun exactly where it happened.
Oh, so it's following.
Right. So it's gonna follow Lun. Okay, so the only one that's with Aya is going to be Koalan and Vito. Okay, so you guys will run down the hall and you will make it to the dormitory areas, and you will see that there is a room. Demetria's room is wide open, and in the hallway, the hallway is pretty much empty because everybody's still in class. And everyone roll an investigation.
Yeah.
Anyone who went with Lun, go ahead and roll an investigation.
Here we go.
Of course.
Hey, I rolled a natural 20. Nice. Oh, that's funny.
Why do you have a -1 in investigation?
Because I
You just
have 8 intelligence. That's why.
Oh.
Okay.
He's a stupid boy.
I am.
So,
But I am also very, very handsome. So fight me.
so Nathan and Lun will notice nothing. Well, everybody else will not notice anything peculiar, but Nathan and Lun will notice on the floor there seems to be blue traces, like a powdery blue trace, like residue, similar to the residue that you found back in the lightning rail.
Nathan's face immediately just goes, "Oh no!" Just
Lun-
straight up worry.
Lun, in addition to, I'm sorry, the other thing I should say with Lun is in addition to the residue, you can faintly hear singing. And it's singing that you always hear. but in this area you probably notice it more because of what happened.
Yeah, he's actually feeling out to see if he can hear the students' thoughts, and I'm presuming they're gone.
Yeah, you can't sense the students' thoughts at all.
Like him going, I can't hear her. I can't hear her. He's like, hand by the powder. Does he sense anything from that powder?
Yes. You look at that powder and you can. It's almost like when you bring the powder closer to you, the singing gets louder. The singing in your head gets louder.
Does Nathan hear any singing?
Roll a Constitution save.
21.
No, you don't hear any singing.
So Nathan will put like a test tube or like some sort of thing provided to him because he assumes that Vito would have been like, everyone should probably have something in case something goes wrong. So he will get up a bit of the dust and put it into a tube and be and just seal it with something because that might be important.
Out of character, is that what the Constitution save, the con save last session was about?
Probably.
Because I failed that one.
Yeah. Well, you also have to understand that just because I ask everyone for a save, it doesn't necessarily mean it applies to everybody.
True.
Sometimes I'll ask for a save and I'm only care about 2 people's rolls, but I'll still ask everybody to roll a save.
Just to put everyone off the scent,
Yeah. Asks, are you okay?
He kind of is rubbing his temples. I'll need to contact her parents.
She could still be alive. Maybe.
Well, that is a possibility. I should still advise her parents of her going missing anyway.
That makes 13.
And I didn't do anything. I was just right there, and she just disappeared. I didn't do anything.
Loon will kind of put his hand on Chris's shoulder and be like, I understand. And Chris will hear in his head going, I can't hear her. She's gone.
Chris will say, in his thoughts, that's really, really bad. That makes 13 disappearances then? I don't like that number.
No. He'll kind of then stand up tall, Chris, and go, right. Chris, can you find something tidy to put those... He kind of falters,
Yes.
he kind of wants to say ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And because then he kind of says, for purposes. Put them in something nice and tidy and put them somewhere safe.
Of course. Yes, Professor. Also, Lucas has hopped off of your shoulder, and he begins to, sniffing around the residue area.
What do you smell, boy?
And you can sense Lucas's thoughts, and all you can hear him say is singing, louder, sing.
Go back to the office, Lucas.
Lucas will take a moment to look at you, and then he will scamper off towards your office. Meanwhile, Aya and Vito and Koalin, you guys are going through your footage. And yes, your cameras were set up, and you are able to see the moment when Chris was interacting with this Asari girl, Demetria. Is there also sound, or is it just visual?
There's also sound.
Okay.
It would be top of the line gear to set because they are paying for top of the line at this point.
Yeah. You can hear the conversation, and the image is actually very crisp. It's crisp, it's in color, so you can see every single detail. There might be multiple cameras, so you might even get a 360 view of everything. So you could pause and rotate things around. And so it plays out pretty much exactly the way Chris mentioned it. He was passing by this girl looks out, and she looks like she's a little feverish, she's a little sick. And she seems, the way that she's behaving sporadically, almost like she's seeing things that aren't there, that she's hallucinating. And then she keeps talking about singing, like singing's too loud, like can you turn it down, make it stop? And Chris has no idea what she's talking about, because even though there's sound, you don't hear any singing at all. And then there's a moment where Chris turns around to look, presumably to look at what the source of the singing could possibly be, and then she just like disappears. It's like one frame, you pause and you like go frame by frame by frame, and it's weird. It's like one frame she's there, and then the next frame she's gone. So there's no like transitionary period. There's no like, oh, you don't see like her like dispersing into the ether. You don't see any of that. It's like pop, she's there, pop, she's not there. And if you roll me in electronics, Aya, electronics.
I have 75 points, so.
Yeah, so that would equate to 7. You can add 7 to this.
Yeah, so.
This is gonna be, it's gonna be high.
75 points, do you mean renegade points? Yes.
There we go.
I assume it's renegade points. 20.
Natural 5 is still 20.
So, Aya, you'll be able to, minority report.
Yeah.
Like zoom,
Enhance,
and zoom in, and the only other thing that you can see as you go from one frame to the other is that one moment the floor is clean, the next moment there's this bluish residue on the floor.
Interesting.
Other than that, everything else in the scene looks perfectly normal. You didn't see anyone appear out of nowhere and kidnap this person. You didn't see a portal appear. You didn't see anything. It's just
Cthulhu reaching through the veil and just pulling her in.
It's almost like somebody like photoshopped this to show.
No dusting though.
That's really weird. I didn't see anything that would suggest why she just disappeared like that.
No, it seems to be as if she existed in one moment and then ceased in the next.
That doesn't seem very, very possible. Oh, sorry, Kasaj will be there as well.
No.
And Kasaj will be watching.
It does not seem possible, but it's what happened, so okay.
It happened as the light flashed, right?
Yeah, so as the
Did
flash...
it?
No, it would have been after, wouldn't it? Because Chris didn't mention it when.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's after the light flashed.
After the light flashed, shortly after, very shortly after, it seemed.
I will like look up other cameras to see. Okay, so like find where Chris was doing his experiment, see what he was doing exactly, and then also like other things that could have interfered with electronics to see. Okay, is there anything that obviously was the source of the light flash, or is it possible that had something to do with all this?
So with the roll, you can keep your electronics roll of 20. So while you're investigating this, it's interesting. You go back to when Chris was in the study, and in the study he was like, you notice that he was walking by and there was a light fixture in the study area that started to flicker. So he notices it, and then he goes over and he tries to like twist it a little bit to try to fix it. And you can follow either before that event or after that event. If you follow after that event, you'll notice that other rooms in other places in the school, lights are flashing as well, but You can follow it. So it's
So it's
flashing in this.
Yeah, so it starts in one point, and
Right.
it keeps going. Okay, so she'll trace it. So she'll think. Okay, so she'll like go all through it, like check. Okay, is there a light flash near the student before she disappeared? And then from there, go backwards, follow the flash to where potentially had its origin.
So yes, there was a light flash that happened shortly before the student disappeared. And then if you follow it backwards, the flash travels several rooms. It passes by the office that you're in. So the flash happened in the office. And then if you continue on, it follows towards the upstairs back to where Chris was.
Yeah.
So that was where it flashes. And then if you keep following backwards, it ends up in a room. There's like a sunroom area. It's like a corner area where the light's flashing, and that's just to the, like I said, the corner of the school. And besides that, you can't catch any record of lights flashing within the last hour. From that point, it just kind of appeared and just kind of cascaded.
She'll
is the
call up.
sunroom facing? Sorry, is the sunroom facing like what I mean is that if this was like sort of a wave, like where we were in the marketplace earlier.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. I will call up Niha and tell her to go to the sunroom immediately and like see what she can find there. Because a student, there was just another event, and I traced a flash to that point.
She will respond, "All right, Aya. I was just talking to the student that you told me to check up on. She's in the nurse's office, and she seems to be feverish, but she doesn't have a temperature. She seems to be very sick, and she says she's acting very weird. She seems to be seeing things that aren't there."
Did you talk about singing?
She will say, "Hold one moment." She responds back. Now she says, "Now that you mention it, she does hear some sort of voices that she thinks is singing, but she can't tell what the voices are saying."
Okay. Get Jackie to keep an eye on her, and then go to where I told you.
I will be there very shortly.
Good.
And she will hang up. I'm gonna say that at this point, it took time for Aya to look at all that footage. So I'm gonna say at this point, Lun and the group will be back in his office. Yes. Okay. Lun and the group will be back in the office, and you will see Aya had just gotten off the phone with Niha, and there's probably screens from her Omni tool in front of her. Again, very Minority Report like. And you guys can reconvene.
Yeah, Lun's gonna head straight to one of the cabinets. He pulls back the door. Behind it is like a very fancy coffee machine. Pulls a cup, puts a specialized tea bag in there, pours some hot water in it, and goes, "If you want coffee, help yourself. Just don't take anything from the red box. That's my own specialty." Sit back. We'll manage to take a drink. Go. "Let me guess, Sire. Did you analyze the footage?"
Yeah. It's, well, let's call it weird to say the least. The student was there, and then in the span of a fraction of a second, they had disappeared, and all was left was, I'm guessing, what you found some residue on the floor.
Yes.
Nathan pulls out the test tube with some resin in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Chris is gathering up the residue. We'll call it residue.
So
This
they
is
just
similar
vanish.
to the lightning rail, isn't it?
Yep, very much the same, Vito.
Ah, shit.
You guys don't know what happened with the lightning rail when back in the new year. We were on this specialized train ran by like Mass Effect fields. It was top of the line sort of thing, and about halfway through the trip, the train went a bit crazy. We ended up having to stop the train from running itself off the tracks. And when we got to the controls, we discovered residue very much like this, and
No controller.
the controller.
No
Yeah,
control.
Hmm. I see.
Yeah, they
There are
don't know
always so
about
much
what
momentum.
happened there. And looks
Huck,
at.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Huck, when did the first disappearance in the school happen? Time-wise scale. Was it before or after New Year's?
It happened after. So I would say that the very first disappearance at the school happened 2.5 weeks ago, and it became progressively more common,
frequent.
I should say. It started out as one disappearance. You thought maybe they ran away or whatever reason, and then the next incident happened like a week later, and then the next incident happened like 4 days later, then 2 days later, then
Were you able to pick up anything on your end? Like on the video, anything else at all? Just her vanishing?
Yeah, as if she ceased to exist.
Well, Hark, have people, like in this universe, I'm assuming people have been vaporized before, right?
they have been vaporized
How,
before. Yes.
when they've been vaporized, because I'm assuming Reaper's as an example, what usually remains? Is there anything that remains or no?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
If we're
not to be too graphic.
if we're talking
but
actual vaporization of a person, it takes a significant amount of time, and there would be gore everywhere.
So
Unless
Right.
it's a supernova, which Nathan has personal experience with.
But even if it was a supernova explosion takes
Yes.
time. It's
Yeah.
not one frame and then another
Yeah.
frame. Like
so-
there's some animation
You know,
that happens.
there's
in
some amount
between.
of time that passes before it actually.
time.
So Dia says this, okay, since if someone were to get vaporized, Amy would see it, hear it, and there would be a lot less, well, there would be more to work with than just blue dust.
Yeah.
What if they were teleported?
Even that, there should be a there should be a high energy reading of some kind, because just moving matter from one place to another, like just so is, even with mass relay, like with Mass Effect fields, is not really possible.
Because I'm bringing this up because the lights flashed earlier. That's what happened when the Pyjaks, who were biotic, went insane. I'm thinking this is related, and I'm thinking we need to check the biotic readings for the school. What happened a few minutes ago? Maybe they spiked or something.
Maybe.
Saj? What does your readings tell you?
He's been scanning the area, and he says, "I'd like to go to this sunroom as well, if we
I'll
could,
go with
please."
I'll go with you. That's okay.
He says, "I have a theory, but I want to confirm some things first before I
Okay.
share it."
I'll go with you then. Could you give me some directions, Aya?
Let's see. Down the hall to the right, another 200 meters, and then another right.
Cool, thanks.
They're gonna go to the sunroom. Go ahead.
Dia's going to say, I think it might be best if we all stay together, because I don't know about you, but I think we have some of the most powerful biotics here, Dia immediately looks at Lun.
How about that girl that Niha said was sick? She seemed to be behaving very sporadically. How do we know that she's not about to disappear as well?
We have a
Maybe
person currently watching her. Looking from how this whole disappearance is happening, it seems to be that once it's begun, it's not like we can do much to stop it other than just be there.
When Aya says that, Vito's going to look at Dia and just, walk a little closer and just, grab her arm as if, like, contact was gonna stop anything, but...
Well, why are you being weird?
Can you hear singing, Dia?
The only time I heard something was that whispering in my dream. That was it. I've been unaffected so far. Has anyone else here heard singing? The biotics in the room? How about the most powerful biotic in this galaxy looks directly at Lun?
Lone will put down his now empty cup and go, "No, I've not heard singing."
Can I
Insight.
Insight the shit out of that.
And roll an insight. And if Lun is telling a lie, then that means Lun will have to roll a deception.
Yep. And sorry, how do you say adding the renegade points works again?
So depending on how many points you have, you get a bonus. So every 10 points, you get a +1 to a roll if you want to apply it
and
to.
I think at level 15, I'm saying you have 75, which means you have a +7.
And out of character, did Salo tell them about who was in his team when he went dimension hopping?
Right, he didn't mention
Jesus. Okay, so we can't tell.
Oh, good lord.
We can't tell
Fucking straight face, just no, I have not.
Yep. Yeah, we're just like, well, he's telling the truth.
Yeah, you believe Lun's telling the truth that he's never heard this singing. Yep.
And
I
Dia
haven't
then
been hearing
says,
anything.
didn't that Salo guy teleport or something? Dimension hopping? Maybe it's something like that?
It's definitely not like that.
Nathan
How'd you
looks
know?
very confused at that reaction. Like, how would you know?
I know a lot about this, and no, it is definitely not like that.
And here I thought we agreed that we don't tell anybody. Good job, Salo.
Well, we kind of needed to get involved with him in order to kind of save a star system, so I don't think he can really, we kind of signed an NDA anyway, so it's not like we can talk. And he will chuckle when he says that, as if to say the NDA actually means anything.
Well, I'm gonna go check on the girl and see if I could learn something. Unfortunately, while she's still here. You're welcome to follow me or go to the sunroom if you'd like.
Saj and I are going to go to the sunroom.
Okay, and
I'll
And
head to the sunroom as well.
I'll go
Okay.
with you guys.
okay.
Where is Charlie? Charlie is still there, or I mean,
Well, you think it's Charlie. You think it's
Charlie will actually want to follow Koalan as well because he seems concerned about the students' like well-being. So he will follow Koalan.
okay.
And
And
then will
then
flick open his Omni tool. Keep us in contact, and he will, do the whole connect everyone up thing.
Is everybody then going to the sunroom, or is anyone following Koalan to the
I'm
sunroom?
following
going
Koalan.
to the sunroom.
You're following Koalan? Okay. And then Aya and Lun are, what are they going to do?
Sunroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with Koalan first. So Indy, you're gonna follow Koalan to the nurse's office, and she, you can hear like somebody scream down the hallway, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" And it sounds very hysterical. As you enter the room, you see an Asari nurse. She's trying to calm down the Asari student, and we'll call the student. We'll say that she's Fiona, and she'll say, Fiona, Fiona, calm down. Nobody's touching you. And Fiona, she doesn't look like the student that you saw outside. She seems very hysterical. Sweat is she's perspiring, and she's looking around, and she seems very sensitive to anyone touching her. Nobody's touching her right now, but she seems to think something's touching her. And if you're speaking to her directly, she doesn't always respond, as if you're not even there. And Koalin is just observing this girl act very strangely. Does Indy or Gimmick do anything?
Yeah, Gimmick. Indy approaches, and so how long has she been like this?
Are you asking her directly?
Yeah, I'm asking the nurse that is close to the girl.
She's been telling me that lately that she's had trouble sleeping, but she's never behaved like this before. I've been trying to get her to calm down, and even try to give her a sedative, but whenever I do, her biotics flare up, and I haven't been able to really get close. So I've been trying to keep my distance, just to give her some space.
Oh, but how long ago did she start acting like this right now?
Only about, I would say, within the last 10 minutes. It's like she snapped. One moment she was just calm and fine, and I was trying to give her a bit of a physical, and then the next moment I know she started complaining about someone touching her.
Well, that's. Can I do an assessment of her well-being, like scan, like the first aid scan on her?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll medicine.
22.
There doesn't seem so. You definitely sense, stress, but you don't sense a fever. So she's behaving as if she has a fever, but it's almost like it's all in her head. Like her mind thinks she has a fever, but the rest of her body is not any hotter or warmer than it is normal. She seems like of average health. So whatever is happening to her right now, medical scans aren't going to be able to figure out, because it seems to be of a mental sickness. At least that's what it appears to be, some sort of mental sickness.
Well, that's strange. It seems like the things that are happening here are kind of odd, don't you think? And looks at Charlie Rona. I mean, looks at Chris. And
Yeah.
what do you think?
Chris says, I don't know. This is really scary. It's almost like it's from some sort of really creepy horror movie where people are getting, I don't know, seeing crazy things and doing really scary, violent stuff.
Well, I've been thinking, and it seems like there is something maybe that you aren't, like, your group isn't telling us.
What? What group? What group are you talking about?
Well, I mean the people that it's here, because the happenings, the events that are happening here, seems similar to what happened in a train some time ago.
It'll be at that point that Gimmick, the lights are flickering a little bit in this room. The girl with almost superhuman speed, jumps out of the bed that she was sitting on, and then she grabs a hold of Indy's
Body?
shoulders, body, and I'm gonna say roll a Constitution save.
Constitution, okay.
Yeah.
17.
Okay. So Gimmick, as soon as she makes contact with you physically, something in your body starts to feel like it's malfunctioning slightly. So your system it's not shutting down. Your save is high enough, so you're not going to shut down. But there definitely seems to be some sort of weird interference in your electronics when this girl is touching you, and it doesn't feel good at all.
Oh.
And you feel like if this girl keeps holding on to you much longer, you may shut down.
Can I, now that she is touching me, can I administer her some sedatives or something?
Yeah, you can try to.
Okay.
But once she notices that you're trying to inject her with something, she will resist. So roll a strength.
Oh.
Roll a strength check.
You're gonna suffer.
I will have an advantage to this. So you will be able to inject a sedative to her. She will start to calm down. She's not gonna pass out. She won't go unconscious, but she'll at least calm down, and the lights around you stop flickering and flashing, and your systems begin to restore itself again. And she will just collapse on the floor and will be in a little bit of a daze, but she's still conscious.
Okay. Well, I don't feel really well. Something odd just happened. Can I lean on that bed over there?
The nurse will rush to you and say, and she'll place a hand on your forehead. You're very cold, she says as she places her hand on your forehead. That's
like it comes from my family. We all have cold blood.
Wait, does she feel abnormally cold? Indy, that might be something very serious. We should have the doctor check you just in case. Koalan says.
No, it's okay. I will have my drone AI run some diagnostics. Just let me get over the bed and have a rest.
The nurse will say, "All right, well, it's your choice, but I assure you, I'm very good at what I do, despite what just happened. You seriously should not have a temperature that low. I think there's something very, very wrong with you."
Oh, don't worry. I'm used to it. I just need some time to rest. But
roll a deception, please.
Please don't roll a 1.
16.
Koalan says, "I think you're lying to me, Indy. Have you felt very ill for a while? Oh, do you hear singing as well? Do you see things that you shouldn't be seeing?"
No, don't worry about it. It's just I'm sure it's just the weather here. I mean, it's been a long time since I came to my home planet. I mean, yeah. I mean, the snow and all that.
Well, the nurse says, she says, "If you do think that she's lying? Oh yes, I think that she might be scared of doctors. Is that why, Indy?" "Yes, it's all right, dear. At least let me take a scan of you or something," she says, and she starts to bring out her Omni tool to scan your body.
Oh,
What do you do? Gimmick.
Like hack the Omni tool to make it stop working or something.
Yeah, you can hack the Omni tool. Go ahead and roll in electronics, and then followed by a stealth so that they won't notice that you're doing it.
Okay, electronics is 13 and 18 stealth.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
oh, this is not good. We will attempt to hack, and at that point, we'll say that the nurse, she says, "Huh, well, there seems to be something wrong with my Omni tool," and Kowalin looks at Indy very suspiciously, and he says, "Oh, Indy, I saw that. You were hacking her Omni tool."
Give me in the just. Okay, look, I know I'm bad, but there are more important things that we have to take care of first. So yeah, maybe we should look at this girl. Look at how she is. Maybe we should solve this first. I promise that I will let you scan me or whatever when we get back to the ship. Okay?
It's at this point that Kowalin takes out his pistol, and he actually aims it at Gimmick, and he says, "I don't know what's going on here, but my Justicar senses is telling me that you're definitely hiding something, and I don't know if there's anything connection to the people at this school, but I don't think I want to take that chance."
Hark.
Wait,
Yes.
Would my security systems detect a weapon drawn?
I mean,
I would say so, yes.
but
Okay.
it's a Shastika, so he has permission to do whatever he wants,
Well,
whatever he wants.
Not necessarily.
I mean, he would be considered to be interfering with the law if you go.
Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna let Aya deal with that.
Yeah.
Like he would be he might be allowed to by the laws of Ilium, but not necessarily the laws
Right.
of the school, because the school is under my jurisdiction now.
Yes.
So
And on top of that, he's a Justicar, not a Spectre. So there is actually
Correct.
stuff about
Yes.
that. Like if he was a
And
Spectre, it wouldn't matter what you say, but he's a Justicar, so he has to follow some laws.
It's also private
Oh, yeah.
property amongst citizens, so I presume that
Oh
would.
yeah, you're right. Because they like put in jail Samara for killing someone. It wasn't
Right.
like, oh well, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
No.
They can't do just whatever they want, but they'll still do it even if they're knowing
Yeah.
they're going to break the law. They'll still do it if the code dictates that they need to.
yeah, definitely several people will within 2 minutes of Kowalin drawing his gun be
Yes.
in the room, and he
Yes.
will be having several people restraining him.
Yes. We'll get to that in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at this moment, though, he has his gun out at Indy, and he says, "There's something that you're not telling me, and I don't like it." How does Indy respond?
Looks around if there is any place to escape, but doesn't see that like there is. So
I mean, you could try to escape.
no. Give me Indy. It's going like, oh, and faint. Go backwards, and then Gimmick would try to escape from the body and go through the floor, like to escape to.
Yeah,
well,
you can do that. You can do that. And when you escape, are you going to stick around to hear what's happening next, or are you going to leave?
I mean, it's going to try to enter the room some way, like not suspicious at all. Like come back again. Hey, I what are you doing, guys?
Even though they haven't seen you as a drone?
I mean, for Koalan, it would be like Gimmick stayed at the ship, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to this.
yeah.
So
These are getting
Aya's
complicated.
people are making their way over to the nurse's office since Koalan pulled out a gun. You're fainted on the floor. So, meanwhile, back at the sunroom.
Meanwhile.
This is very interesting. Okay. So, you guys are in the sunroom, and by this point, Kasaj will have taken out his scanner and is scanning the area. And, Niha is already there. And she's, investigating. She has her Omnun tool, and she's investigating around this area, investigating the circuitry. And when you enter in the room, she'll inform Aya. So there does seem to be some recent electrical interferences within the last hour, but I don't know where the source of this interference is. It just appeared out of nowhere.
Curious.
Well, we know at least 3 vanished. There's the dust there. Do you have anything on campus we can analyze the dust?
We have a biology lab, but it's at a student level.
It's better than nothing.
Anyone here like a highly qualified biologist? Because I sure as hell aren't.
I might have a better lab on my ship, but that's a bit far away right now.
From what I can infer between the lines, you went dimension hopping with Sallow, right?
Not directly with Sallow, with his sister.
Oh, are we sharing this? Are we sharing that?
Apparently,
dimension
Sallow
thing?
has already spilled the beans, Niha.
Don't worry, we've
Oh.
signed an NDA. Nathan says with like a roll of his eyes.
What a bullshit. Sallow. Just because
Nathan,
he became.
let me make this quite clear. If this information leaves this room, you will not live to see tomorrow.
Yeah, you want to.
I don't think anyone will believe us, to be quite fair to you anyway.
You will not live to see tomorrow.
Trust me, you'll wish you could dimension hop to escape her.
I believe you, but at the same time, I don't think it would really matter. No one would believe us, but don't worry. I don't plan on telling anybody, because I don't want to come off as mentally unstable. Well, any more than I already am.
There is also, when we are talking about the subject of biological knowledge, binary helix is also just across town.
I can have my brother analyze it, but it's going to take a while.
There's Jalan too. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel all that good bringing in favors from him, but yeah.
Do you think that the disappearance and or death of innocent people is severe enough or not severe enough?
Look, we could send it to binary helix.
Nathan will offer whomever is going to send the sample to binary helix the test tube with the sample in it.
I will take it and hand it off to and like call in and like another person to take it to binary helix.
Sure. Yeah, one of your other mercenary members will
Yeah.
gladly make the delivery immediately to have it analyzed.
Right.
Meanwhile, Kasaj has his device perked up, and he's pointing towards. He's pointing out the window in the sunroom, and he says, "There was a sudden spike of dark energy that way." He says, pointing outside.